Hey, Niklas here from Orbit Culture, and you're listening to Interview Under Fire.
All right, hey there, everyone. Welcome back to a new edition of Interview Under Fire. This is your host and Sunny back here once again. Today, I am stoked to welcome Niklas Karlsson. It's an honor, my man. Great to have you on IUF. Dude, what a summer. What a year for you and the rest of the guys over at Orbit Culture, with the release of Death Above Life, which unleashes October 3rd on Century Media. The recognition, Nicholas, that you guys have gotten so far have just really ramped up with old fans like myself, but even like new fans. I mean, after that world tour you guys did last year, I mean, go check on YouTube, guys, if you don't believe me. But congrats, bro. I mean, 5 records now with the band. Not easy to do. A lot to talk about this record. Before we get to everything, dude, I don't think I asked you this. How are you? I mentioned how
Very good,
busy
sir.
how busy of a year you've had. But let's take a breather. How are you, bro?
I'm very good, Sonny. How are you, man? Are you feeling good?
Dude, I'm good. I've been looking forward to
Uh,
this, just talking to you, at least for a while. It's been a while since I've been trying to get you on the show, but it's kind of have to almost like pinch yourself, right? Because now you're above, over a decade with the band, and now 5 records in. How does it feel?
Feels fucking fantastic, man. I
Yeah.
mean, the rest of the boys, we're talking about, it all the time. I mean, we're basically living the dream that we've
Yeah.
chased for so many years now, and we're a bit older now than when we started out, obviously, but it's what a time to be alive.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hey, Nicholas, real quick, can you turn your camera this way?
there we go.
Hell yeah, there we go. Now we get the full Nicholas. Hey, real quick, I want to mention this once more on our podcast. I mentioned it one other time with another guest, but because of recent current events that took part in the world that both you and me take part of, and many others have a place in, the heavy metal world, right, with the passing of the late great Ozzy Osbourne. And I think it's been about a month since his passing, but Nicholas, if you could, I mean, can you tell me how someone like you has been affected by this? And of course, rest in peace to the Prince of Darkness.
I mean, I obviously I've heard the hits and everything,
Yeah,
and I know without Ozzy there would barely be any metal, I guess.
of course.
But with that said, I grew up more with the Osbournes, the TV show, more than the music, which is fucking weird.
That's that's me too, actually.
Yeah,
Thank you for saying that. I was afraid to admit that, but thank you.
but when they because they streamed that whole thing, the last show and everything that he
Yeah,
did. So me and my fiance, we bought it, bought the stream the day after and watched it, all the bands
yeah,
and everything, and that's when I knew how big of an impact yeah, that he did, and how great of a human being, he was. As a performer and everything. I mean, I guess he had his dark days too, but
oh yeah,
it's such a unfortunately not living legend, but I guess he lives in us all in some way. Also,
yeah.
fucking Osborne, yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate you for sharing that. I think it's an important thing to know. I mean, we wouldn't be here today. I think, if Ozzy didn't play his part, right, in
Wow.
in heavy metal. So, just wanted to ask you about that. So, thank you for sharing. And since we're calling out, we're probably gonna be doing a lot of name dropping. I'm gonna do another name drop. We talked about it before. Shout out to Tim Torment, who's been take good friend of mine, taking other friends of mine like yourself, like Orbit Culture around the States here when you guys did that tour last year. But shout out to him. He's taking great, good care of y'all. Man, down the road, I'll see you guys all
Loved him.
together.
Uh,
Love you, Tim. Hey, Nicholas, can we do a little time traveling? I want to go back to 2013, if that's okay. Maybe even before that,
yes.
because that's an important time for you. The formation of Orbit Culture, now alongside your bandmates, of course, Richard, Frederick, and Christopher, but not without, of course, the struggles of learning Cubase back in the day for
Oh
you
yeah.
and the DIY knowledge. If you could briefly talk about that time when you knew that this was actually going to happen, because 12 years later, excuse me, here you are. It's safe to say it has paid off, right?
I hope so. I mean, I think I was I moved to Ekurite, where where I am right now, with my family, and I got to know a bunch of guys that were in bands, and I was always like kind of the outsider because nobody knew that I was wanted to be in a band. I just knew it myself and didn't tell anyone. So, but in secrecy, I asked my dear mother if she could afford me a audio interface, one of those Line 6 UX1 pod, whatever it was. And from that day on, I was like creating or trying to learn, as you said, Cubase. It was not so much creating, it was like installing, deinstalling stuff.
Yeah.
uh, but then, I mean, it's something just happened inside me. I want to write and record more than I want to like sit by the computer and play games. It became very important to me very fast, and those other guys in those other bands, like they disbanded their bands and they created new ones, and then I created my own, and yeah, we were off to the races with some other guys who joined me when I showed them the demos. It
Yeah.
was a cool period. But
Just
very, as you said, struggling. I guess many bands have struggled way more than we have, but I mean, everything is relative. So
sure.
yeah,
Now I gotta ask, do you still have your sister's SingStar microphone somewhere?
but probably my mom has it somewhere.
I remember reading that. I was like, no way. I have to ask him about that. That's like,
Yeah,
talking about nostalgia. That's like something that you look back on. But Nicholas, I want to keep the spotlight on you because, this band is originally from Sweden, and I don't know what it is about the water in Sweden, Nicholas, but I want to drink it. Your influences. Let me go into that subject, whether they're personal or professional. Who are they, Nicholas? I don't know if you get a chance to talk about this, and what do they mean to you?
I think. I mean, my mother has always been very almost like a two-sided coin. I would say she has been very much so like
Very cool.
very cool with me playing guitar, drawing and whatnot, being very, the creative side. But
Mm,
she was always very strict about to be able to do that, you have to work your ass off. Like whether it's working at the dollar store to be able to
hmm
afford the things that you want to do. So she really showed me the two, I think, key components of having having a band, or doing anything that you have to be creative but you also want some success. It's not gonna come from the easy, e- e- not easy, but having fun with the
Sure.
instrument. It's more like that you have to have a strategy, a plan, while doing everything at the same time. So she is very important, and she has been very important. But when it comes to like influential, James Hetfield, obviously. I mean, you can hear it from 1,000 miles away in our music.
Yeah.
But then just obscure shit like that's not, specifically attached to metal. I mean, as you can see, I'm a huge horror nerd. I always want to
Yes.
incorporate like horror
I was gonna
sounds
ask you
in.
about the Mike
Yeah,
Myers mask behind your shoulder.
yeah. But all of that shit is just as important as Master of Puppets for me. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just a big cauldron of nerdy shit that turned into orbit culture, I would say.
I'm gonna name drop a few more. Hans Zimmer
Yes.
and Howard
Yes.
Shore. Bro, you're talking to one of the biggest like Hans Zimmer fans right now. By the way, I play violin, so
All
that
right.
the correlation between heavy metal and classical music, it's it's second
It
to
ain't that
none.
far, right? Oh yeah.
No, I heard somebody say, now correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if it's like probably even a popular thing somebody said. Like if Beethoven was alive today, he would be a
You would
metalhead.
play metal. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you heard something? And I'm thinking about that. I'm
Yes.
like, that makes so much sense. And then just obviously we know about what Epica and within Temptation, like those symphonic metal bands. What did I just say? That it correlates, one and the same.
It does.
But Dune, Interstellar, Lord of the Rings, I'm thinking of those soundtracks when I heard this album and I was like, bro, there's no way Nicholas is not taking influence from that. And then I saw the press release and Hans Zimmer, Howard Shore, like just it's crazy to see that. But what's your favorite Hans Zimmer score? Tough one.
It, yeah, I mean, from month to month, I end up at his like Spotify artist page or whatever, and I
Same.
always find something new that's fucking incredible because that man just vomits out the best shit that you know there is. But now, I mean, it's obviously now we are free, right? The Gladiator, one always sits
Yeah.
firmly to the heart, and maybe a more obscure one, but the David Jones theme
Yes.
is fucking
Ah,
amazing.
good
And
call.
but now I guess it's from all these fucking TikTok videos. People are start to use this Lion King song, which is fucking amazing too. So that's what I'm listening to also.
I don't think I don't know if I'm not on TikTok, but now you're like, I'm seeing a lot of things that I could probably be exposed to, but I didn't even know that was a thing. Um, hey, we're talking about Hans Zimmer. Have you seen F1 yet?
No, I am not.
Oh
Is
my
it good?
dude, Hans Zimmer did the soundtrack for that. And once the main beat kicked in, I'm not going to spoil anything, but in the first act, I'm thinking to myself, that can't be Hans Zimmer. And then it shows Hans Zimmer
And it was,
did the
yeah.
music. It worked out so perfectly. Anyway, just shout out to F1.
I have to
When you
watch
get
that now.
yeah, when you get a chance to see it, dude. And it
Is it
gives me
like?
goose it gives me goosebumps because Hans Zimmer actually worked with a Formula One race car driver, Lewis Hamilton actually. He worked with him together, and Lewis said he worked with Hans to make it sound like what it would sound like if you were in an F1 driving, what the music would feel like. And he
Holy
nailed it.
shit!
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy, right? Like the analogy of like working with someone like that and the idea that you come up with, it's like, wow, it actually does feel like I'm in a car. After I got done watching the movie, I blasted the soundtrack in my car and dude, I wanted to like break all the speed rules down the highway. Like you wanted to go
So,
fast. So
so the soundtrack is out.
the soundtrack is out. Yeah, it's on Spotify. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
After this, I'm gonna go out to the car and drive around. I think.
Yeah, just search F1. Shout out to Hans Zimmer, man. Like that
Hell yeah.
one of my
But
favorite soundtracks of the year.
what's special with Hans is that I think he's like his mind goes so beyond like instrument these days.
I
He
know.
he just takes on something that's fucking difficult to do, but I mean, he's done it for so many years now. But I feel like he's so above instruments these days. He just knows how it sounds in his head, and then he picks up what he needs to do. Yeah,
I
what
think
a talent!
I think he's doing the music for the Odyssey as well. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Oh yeah,
It's either him or another name is Ludwig Göransson.
yeah. The
He's
Swede.
also great. I feel like you would Swedish. Like, it goes on the same. I didn't think about that, but one of my favorite soundtracks that Ludwig has done was the Tenet, one of his
Yeah, yeah.
about like 5 years ago or something. One of my favorite ones. But dude, I'm nerding out of our soundtracks. We could go about this forever, but
I agree, man.
we'll put a pin on that. But as we switch gears here, one of the cooler things that really bring out the best in this band, Orbit Culture, is the live presence. This is a band I'm still dying to see in person, Nicholas. I haven't seen you guys yet. You guys have this, but I've seen, okay, you guys have this energy from feeding off the crowd and giving it right back. I don't know if that's just how Swedish metalheads are, but it hits just right. I mean, you've toured with what? Slipknot, Knock Loose and Trivium. You played at worldwide festivals. I want to turn this question around on you. What is the band that you saw in person that gave you the energy that allowed you to give it right back into the band that you were seeing?
I think, I mean, we are from Sweden, right? We are like by law very shy. We tend to stay away from other people as much as we can. And that's it wasn't up until like 2 years ago or something, maybe three, when we got lucky to tour with In Flames. And In Flames being Swedes also, they really took us under their wing, both behind the scenes, but also on stage. Like we were always allowed to stand side stage. And what I picked up then was like Anders. He's talking to the fans like he's also giving them some shit, which I always found fascinating because I was a firm believer that once you are up on stage, you have to be very polite. But in a
Hmm.
metal crowd, that works. But they also enjoy getting shit because that just elevates the energy even more. So that's a thing that I learned from Anders and took inspiration from. So I like to give the fans shit sometimes when they don't behave
Oh,
in the way I want them to do.
now you got me teasing to go to the show of yours. I can confirm that because I actually just saw In Flames with their Machine Head tour back in April, and man, it's really cool. It builds that relationship with the crowd, right? It's
It does.
and then you go back to the city where you gave shit to, and they're like, "Oh man, it's this guy, yeah," you know. So you build that camaraderie and build that relationship. So, I mean that's really cool. Like, and as far as like touring, I want to mention this too. You guys have that European tour coming up this fall with Gaia and Atlas. When does that kick off? I keep thinking we're
um,
like early in the year, but we're about to approach the end of the year. That's crazy
yeah,
to think about.
it's soon spooky season, man.
Yeah,
Um,
that's best part, the best time of the year. And yeah,
it
I think it's
it
like
is.
right after the album drop, I think, because it comes out October 3rd, but I don't know if that the
I
tours
think the
before.
first show is on the either the 20th or the 21st in Hamburg. That's where we,
Okay.
off to the races.
It's gonna be here in a blink. I want to do a little pre-tour prep here, Nicholas. What are some
Yeah.
essential? You just give me one thing. You don't have to name everything. What is like an essential thing you have to take with you on the road? I get some
My,
crazy answers to this question sometimes.
it is a straight answer. It is my pillow. That disgusting fucking thing has been with me for I think before even the band started, but
Hey,
and it's
not
I think I have like two feathers left in that ball sack of a pillow. So
Hey, not just any pillow. This sounds like a pillow you've had for a while. So, okay, that
yes.
let me clear that up. It's something that means something to you. So, I kind of like that. Some people, I've had some guests who tell me like they bring like a stuffed animal with them or a piece of clothing, like a cloth from a
What the
piece of
fuck?
clothing. Yeah, to like
Oh,
because it means something to them. That kind of it affects the mental health in a positive way, because when you're on the road, you're meeting so many strangers and so many environments. You kind of get lost in the chaos,
like
right?
it's does this like smell from home or something? Like
I don't know. I forgot what they said about that. That's a good question too. I may have to get back to you on
I
that.
think that's the case with the pillow because it smells like you know my bedroom.
Hey, that's okay. I really like that's a very interesting that's one of the most interesting answers I've ever actually had. So I love asking that question. But let's move on because let's talk about Death Above Life, bro. October 3rd on Century Media. This follows up 2023's Descent. Nicholas, that's still on my rotation today. I love that album too. I'm gonna quote you here, and I think I'm quoting you. This record represents change, a new beginning. And one of those beginnings is Century Media, because this makes you label mates with Caliban, Dark Tranquillity, Frozen Soul, just to name a few. But what is it like to kick off this new chapter of the band with such a respected label like Century Media? Because it's like a rebirth.
It is, yeah. I don't know where to start. I mean, we have to like roll back the tape a bit because they chased us around for like a year, and we're like, who the fuck are these weird Germans? Like, get them out of here!
Oh
But
my gosh.
because they were, chasing us, which is cool.
Sure.
But we were playing like hard to get also. But then we were like, yeah, let's do it. But and since we have been a band now for like what is it over 10 years,
Yeah.
we have always been a very control freak behavior, do it yourself kind of band. So I think we had some trouble in letting other people in, even though they've worked in the industry for 30 years. So we were like, that's a bad fucking idea, while it turned out to be a good idea anyways. Shit like that.
Sure.
So we had some like adjustments to make within ourselves and how everything should move forward, basically. But we can already see like the fruit of the labor so to speak. They've been so great, and with the new music, we knew that it had to be obviously good enough to be on Century. So that was also like a pressure, but also a good pressure for us to have.
Interesting. You kind of just set up this next topic for me because you've been on this before and not the record label part, but this that was a new experience for you. But the challenges and conveniences on keeping things fresh after I want to say 12 years, maybe more than that. But even now, you have outlets, Nicholas, you have outlets like Metal Hammer and Revolver recognizing you. I mentioned the touring that you've done with those bands. I'm not asking for a specific ingredient or like a secret or anything, but you continue to evolve musically. I wonder, the question that I'm trying to get to is, has the process of writing new music become more challenging as the band's career has progressed? Like, do you feel a greater responsibility now?
Yeah, I think creating it is, it's like you're raising different babies with different needs. Uh, but
Good
for
analogy.
this record, I I went into it thinking that we just made Descent, we just made the Forgotten EP, which when you're post an album, you barely see. It's like with memories, you barely remember the bad ones, you just remember the good things. And then I thought, yeah, this next album is going to be easy to write. Obviously you get way more efficient, organizing stuff, how you even set up a Cubase project, tiny shit like that helped in the process. But then there's challenges because then suddenly you're out of your comfort zone doing some clean vocals, or
Hmm.
experimenting with some like uh choirs and shit. Like we have never recorded that, how do we do that, just technical shit like that turn into be a challenge and a headache at some point, and then you fix it and then you move
Hmm.
on, like, yeah. So
As you're talking, okay, so far our conversation, by the way, I love this conversation so far, but I'm still trying to wrap my head around how brutal you sound on the album to how sweet and like great you sound like just talking in person. It's just like we're having a beer with you, but then you're a beast on stage, bro. Anyway, I just want to compliment you on that. You
thank you,
have
man.
yeah, I'm like, there's no way this is the same guy. I think of bands
The
like
imposter.
I think of bands like Bleed from Within and like Rivers of Nile, Fit for an Autopsy, but you guys seem to have found your signature sound over the years. I mean, Death Above Life, I think, had everything I wanted as an Orbit Culture fan because from songs like Inferna to Inside the Waves to the title track, but that may be my favorite track, but ask me again tomorrow, I may change. To the emotional closer, the emotional, that was the path I walked. Like, holy shit. Again, I still can't believe that's you. Nick, can you walk me through the writing process real quick for an album like this? Because does the vision shift along the way, or do you usually start with a clear idea and sound from day one? And when all is said and done, how different is the finished record from what you first imagined?
The All right, so it's how I write these days, and these days I've been doing it since the Ninja days. Is to write all
Yeah.
the songs within the same project, and then there's like maybe 40, 50, 60 ideas in there, and then you like string them together in some way. Like that could work together with that. So I think that's where like the red thread goes through, like
Mhm.
in that Cubase project. But with a song like Path I Walk, which has been in a separate project, but also been like living now for 3, 4 years, and it's taken so many different shapes because we felt like we cannot sing this. It feels like cringy to sing this. I don't have the voice for it now. I'm pretty nasal, and we just tried a whole different things with that one. Should we have electric guitar? Should we have
Mm.
acoustic? Should we do rhythm? Like, should we have real drums, like cymbals and shit? But then the switch with that song came with the lyrics, because the lyrics are pretty dark and heavy.
Mm.
But it just cemented in the track itself, and it was so easy to record it because the lyrics themselves brought out a voice that I didn't think we had, if that makes sense.
I didn't think you had. That's how crazy it is. And it's great. That's anyway, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, no, all good. I mean, I guess it was kind of a wild card to bring it in, but now it feels so natural that it is
Yeah.
there for some reason. So yeah, I think speaking of the other songs, they like build themselves in a way. The more you sit with them, it's a pretty clear vision from the first riff that you write. Then it feels like a natural
Yeah.
path to go. But with Path I Walk, it feels weird. It felt weird to have it, but now I wouldn't have it done it in another way, I think.
I think I've heard that album a total of 5 times all the way through. And
Also,
each time it fit more and more, the path I walk. You know how Owen Wilson goes, "Wow."
yeah,
I kept doing it more and more and more. And then once the path I walk, I was like, "Wow." That's a that's how I was feeling. And you were speaking of the sound. It was produced by you guys, right? The entire album. But then you also had Buster come in and do like the mixing.
yeah,
But
yes,
I wonder if there's that sense of comfortability knowing that you have full power on how you want this album to sound because it's not easy, hiring a producer. It's like, hey, this is the way you want it to sound because it could go one way or so many other ways.
yeah. I think with Buster, since uh, I think a close friend of mine who knew him, like was our like introduction with the internet 10 years ago, and I always wanted him to mix our stuff, but I couldn't
Hmm.
afford it. uh, but I always looked up to him and tried to like replicate his techniques of guitar tones here and there. But now I finally was like, yeah, let's bring in Buster in. I'm still gonna like produce it, like put my flavor on it. I really wanted Buster for his like sonic abilities, if that makes sense, like his
No, yeah.
mixing expertise. So and he did a sick job, but I think it was yeah, the perfect fit for this album to have
Do
him on board.
do you have a favorite track? I told you
I
mine.
s- I think it is the path I walk. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Might
Yeah,
be
that makes even more
controversial.
sense now that you're telling me after the way you described that track. Like, yeah, it's got to be that.
Yeah, I think because that in the end was the big challenge to get done, and I'm very happy how it turned out. So the path I
Yeah.
walk, I would say.
A unique element that's really stood out to me about this album is even just orbit culture in general is the lyricism throughout this album. It really paints a picture of this group in such a creative structure. Even more so, we talked about movies. I want to kind of stick on that subject because I just got done watching the latest episode of Alien Earth, and I'm
Yeah,
mentioning that because that insane album cover, this H.R. Geiger-esque cover painting by he's a Slovakian artist, excuse me,
Miroslav Pekov.
Miroslav
Yeah,
Petko. Yes. How was that process like, bro? Because picking out an album cover like this, I always think, where in this entire new record chapter does the album art come in? You know how they say they don't judge a book by its cover. Don't judge an album by its cover. I judged it though, and I judged
uh,
right because I love this shit. How did you know that this is what you wanted? So I know this is like an open-ended question, but I can't help
I
but ask.
I also have to take that from the beginning because we of all every Orbit Culture album, we have always been that band who we make the songs first. No, no, the other way around. Sorry, we choose the artwork first, and then we make the songs around the artwork. If that makes sense. It's
Interesting.
completely a other way of doing it, but
Okay.
that made so much sense on like our EP Red Fog and even Nija. I mean, we bought the artwork and then we made the songs. Um, because and even though this is not like a Nija campaign, the word Nija just looked cool on the on the artwork, so that's why we
It
named
worked. It worked though.
yeah, it
So
worked.
so who cares?
But with Death Above Life now, we all of us like for a year we thought this would be like a white kind of themed album. But the more we got closer to getting the final product, we were like, holy shit, this feels like a dark album now. So
the
we,
such impeccable timing when I saw the album cover because I don't know if you're a fan of the Alien series,
yes,
but by the way, watch the new Alien series. It's amazing. Yeah, because the White album, it's Nisha, right? That's the one
yeah,
that came out in 2020. I'm looking through your album covers right now. You only have, but you have In Medias Res, um, like more of the dark. You have Odyssey also, 2013. That's a very colorful album.
yeah,
But you kind of went the more darker route, which is it really shows the growth in your catalog over time. But um,
yeah. Life got more miserable. Oh, okay, it got better.
you can track the growth of the band that
Yeah.
way.
Oh
And
man, after like extensive search around Instagram, we finally find this Miroslav Pekko guy,
oh,
and
you found him through Instagram. Wow.
yeah, and
Okay.
usually, how Instagram artists or artists these days, they maybe are open to sell a digital file. That's usually how it works. But I asked him for it, and he was like, "No, I only sell paintings." And I was like, "Shit,
Oh,
I
okay.
will buy your painting." So yeah, I got these big ass paintings now,
Where is it?
which is cool.
Where are the
It's
paintings?
in our rehearsal space. So we had to do like the old school, like photograph it and
Uh-huh.
crop it and stuff. So it was a fun process too.
Shout out to Miroslav because he nailed it up with the album cover. That's
He did,
probably my
definitely.
favorite album cover this entire year. I rank album covers sometimes, so I always look at like the presentation, right? It really drew me in. You did it. You did that first and then the
Yeah,
songs. That's crazy to hear. That even gives it even more depth.
more
Speaking of
anxiety to
yeah.
get it done.
Speaking of anxiety, that Hydra music video, holy shit. I'm ready for Dune 3. That gave me like anxiety watching that. I was like, oh my God, there's a sandworm gonna pop up at any moment here. That was really cool, man. That was shot. You used practical effects for that mostly, right?
Yeah, it was shot in. Can't really remember. Just, I think it was like 3 hours south of Los Angeles,
Oh my God.
almost at the Mexican border.
Must
So
have been hot. Holy mother.
holy shit! But it
Holy.
was a lot of wind too, so I think
Okay,
that
okay.
helped. But yeah, no green screens there, man. It's just
Oh
what you
yeah.
see is how it looked like. So cool.
Ye- And as a journalist, like my one of my jobs is obviously looking at the comments. There are new people discovering your music. There are veterans like me who'd be like, "Oh my God, how is this? This band just keeps getting better and better." They're saying you're at the top of your game. I agree with all of that. So, dude, give yourself a round of applause, dude. You're doing shit. Like I know it's DIY, but give yourself credit, man. I love how humble you are. I think that's just like a Swedish thing. You guys are so humble. You guys like to talk about others, but I love that. That's a great attitude. But give yourself credit because it's really cool to see how far you've gotten since then. But I don't want to take any
Thank you, man.
much. No, thank you, bro. I know we've covered a great deal of topics in our conversation here. Nicholas, it was great to have you. I mean, I hope we get to do this again. But you being so true to yourself and sharing your perspectives here on IUF, and you make my job easy. Asking the questions, you made this so entertaining. Um, truly, not, I mean, not just me, but you've seen the fans at your shows, the touring, the people you met during your time with Orbit Culture. We're entering the rebirth of this band's career, and we kind of just reiterated to that and celebrate your successes along the way. I'm gonna end this interview on this question. Look behind you and pick something out of that shelf that means a lot to you.
Holy shit.
Spooky season
Uh,
is amongst us.
okay.
I had to do this, bro. You did it. You set yourself up.
All right. So this is my holy grail, right? It's
Oh
a
my
re
goodness.
rehold Halloween Kills mask that the boys got me, the band. It's
That
pretty fucking cool, right?
the detail on that is second to none. Oh my goodness.
The funny thing about this fucking mask is they got it for my 30th birthday, right? And I
Hmm.
was looking at we have something called Tradera, which is basically eBay.
Okay.
And I was sitting like, what, we're gonna place a bid on this fucking thing, and then it just disappeared. And my friend was sitting, next to me. He was like, "Oh, too bad." Then that fucker bought it for me. So it's
Bro,
fucking great.
that is so cool. Thank you for sharing that. I wanted to ask about because you have you have so many amazing things on that shelf that I have to ask you about at least one thing.
Yeah,
Um,
my mother said like, "Holy shit, it's like a museum in here."
Hey, you know what?
with all this shit.
Shout out to your mom, man. It's really great to have a mom that she supported you. Like that's a great thing to have. I don't think I've asked that question before to other artists. They don't really mention like parents, but I think I love that you mentioned your mom. So shout out to our moms. Shout out to my mom. But
Absolutely.
Nicholas, brother, I'm gonna let you go here. But do you have any last words? Any shout outs? Anything you like to plug or mention as far as Orbit Culture and the new album before we finish things up?
Just
I know we got a little over a month, but I don't know if you have a new music video coming out. Whatever you want to share.
we do.
Oh, yes.
I think keep your eyes peeled for the beginning of September. I don't know
Okay.
when we're gonna release this, but it's gonna be
Probably mid-September. I think it'll be
all right.
after the music video. But hey, I'll keep in touch with you on
But
Instagram. So
then I can say it like this: we have a video after that too that's coming. That's after the middle of September. So
hey, either way, there's more material coming out. Dude, I
yes,
can't freaking wait. And everyone, Orbit Culture goes on their Death Above Life European tour this fall with Gyri and Atlas. Do me a favor, go to this tour because
yes,
I've seen the other two
go.
bands. Those bands are great. I haven't seen Orbit Culture, but this I got the next best thing right here. But don't miss that tour. You're going to Japan too for the first time.
Yes,
You ready,
yes.
you ready for it?
I don't know. I
One
think
thing
so.
about one thing about Japan is I love this. They're really clean. Like their restrooms, their restaurants. It's
Yes,
like they
please.
they have
I'm all for
instructions.
it.
Even when you buy like a drink and you have to put like it gives you instructions on how to put in a straw in a drink. Like they're so nice. Like it's like over here, it's like here you go, straw, and you just
Uh,
explode. Like whatever. But just little things like that. Just even going out to dinner. That's
Fuck
really cool.
yeah.
How long are you gonna be there for in Japan for?
5 days, I think it is.
Is there something you want to see down there so badly that
We're gonna eat so much ramen and stuff. So that's a lot of restaurant visits, definitely.
dude, have the best time, man. Take care of
Yeah.
yourself. And of course, we'll stay in touch down the road. Everyone, this is the awesome Niklas Karlsson from Orbit Culture. Hey, shout out to Tim. Obviously, again, we mentioned him before, but next time I see you, I'm sure Tim will be right there. But Death Above Life drops on October 3rd on Century Media Records. I asked you favorites before, guys. Buy the record too. I mentioned the
Yes.
album art. I'm old school, Nicholas. I like to keep the hard copy with me. So
I feel you.
I have the Mortal Kombat poster from 1995 on my wall for crying out loud, right?
Holy
So
shit,
yeah,
huh?
from 1995. I don't know if I can like turn it so you can see. Let me see if I can without it falling. Hold on.
Holy shit, there we go.
I'm reconvening
That's
myself.
two
Yeah,
years
anyway.
younger than me.
That's a classic movie, man. That's like one of my favorite
That's
one of my favorite like as far as like video game movies. But
that's
anyway,
awesome.
you can listen to this podcast, everybody, on interviewunderfire.com. Check us out on YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, all the major podcast platforms. Nicholas, thank you from the bottom of my heart, man. Nothing but the best for you and the band from here on out. Have a great release leading up to October 3rd. We'll stay in touch, buddy. And I'll talk soon.
Absolutely.
All right.
Thank you, Sonny. Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Hey guys, thanks for listening to Interview Under Fire podcast. If you guys liked what you heard, please subscribe and share our channel. And please leave a 5-star review as that helps us tremendously. If you'd like to check out more, visit www.interviewunderfire.com or our social media channels on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. And finally, we want to thank you all for the support you've been giving us. Keep it burning.